You're such an asshole.
So I had a client who's having trouble finding a job, STEM degree, all this other stuff. And he was dealing with HR, and the conversation went where I'm like, okay, look, the your goal should be how could I put, if you are dealing with HR, you have failed in your education. And what I mean by that is you need to avoid all the bullshit, all the petty office politics, flying above the fray, as I've used before the analogy. You don't want to be in the trenches of World War I where you have no freaking clue what's going on. You want to be up above in the airplane where you can see the battlefield and understand it, so you don't deal with the crap. And so things such as engineering degrees, the trades, skilled trades like underwater welder, oil rig workers, surgeons, doctors, you don't deal with it. You might have some formalities with HR in terms of hiring law, employment law. You need to fill out some forms. Here's what your 401k is, that kind of thing. But if you're in front of it, your stereotypical HR generalist, your HR ditz, who knows nothing about your field, you've done something wrong. You have the wrong degree because you are not a critical employee. You're critical enough that they're like, no, we got to talk to the hiring manager. You got to talk to the boss. You go talk to the boss. Yeah. Karen in HR will do the paperwork later. Get him up front and center. And it's a little bit unfair because unless you have a really specialized degree or a really sought after degree, everyone has to go and talk to the HR dits. Every one of you, you're even, I'm sure engineers have to do it too. Here you are, IQ of 128. You know, like I picture Atham, incredibly intelligent, fluid dynamic. You could do all this stuff. You can create new alloys to advance society, and you're talking to a solid 102 ditz who watches the Hallmark Channel or The Bachelorette, and not joking, believes in astrology. Because if you look at HR, like their selection and interviewing processes, go look it up. Mercer did a study. What's Mercer? You'll find out. There's so it's like 0.14 correlation coefficient between their interviewing techniques and employee performance and time on the job. I'm sure it's gotten worse over time. And Karens in HR, they were the bane of my existence. Being a young man, recently graduating from college, poor, need to get a job. You'll go mad. You'll go mad. I look back, I found an old resume cleaning out. Like, this is a good resume in terms of how it was organized. I forgot all the things I had done, internships, abilities, skills, software, all that kind of stuff. Like, how the hell with that GPA and how was I not able to get? Because Karens are not empirical. HR is not a real thing. It is emotions. It is your rationality. It is nepotism. It is, oh, she's my BFF. It is a hole. It's a black hole. You want to avoid it. And so I was going to find it. I thought I had a video out there called Refuse to Interview with HR, because I will grant one thing to the millennials and younger. I know we're really hard on this channel, but that's because we care. But the Zoomers, the Zillennials, and the millennials, I'm very hard on you, but there's one thing they did, and that was they said, no, we've had enough of the corporate bullshit. The whatever you want to call it, quiet quitting, lying flat, the absurdity that these horrible, evil women, generally speaking, in HR require you, bachelor's required, master's preferred, require you guys go into debt, spending 4 to 6 years on college degrees that are ultimately not worth it. Corporate scum who won't create a training program, but then unnecessarily require you get a 4-year degree to have some kind of entry-level job. I could say I'm proud of the younger generation. Say, no, we're not doing that anymore. Nope, we're not going to college. We're not getting good grades. We're not even going to work. We're not, why can't we find employees? Well, one, you don't pay enough. I don't know why there's such a thing as not a living wage. I'm not for a minimum wage. I'm just saying, well, why would anyone take a job if you're not paying them? And finally, a generation said, nah, we're not doing it. It's not worth it. The absurd educational requirements. And then to add insult to injury, you guys go through all this hard work. You go to college, you jump through the hoops, and then you're talking to some. It's one of two things. It's a truly delusional, idiotic 24-year-old ditz who knows nothing about whatever it was, accounting, engineering, computer programming. I know one oil rig company back in the Bakken oil field days, they couldn't find, I think it was just a welder. And they found out that they had some Karen in HR preventing all the welders from going through because she didn't like his shoes or whatever bullshit these astrology people subscribe to. Oh shit, I forgot where I was going. Oh, so you go through all this hard work only to be hung up, only to be denied employment because the 24-year-old ditz is asking you stupid questions. Then the other is the pissed off spinster. You're Karens. You're real Karen. I think all the Karens, like there was a pie chart, jobs Karens hold, 89% of the jobs Karens hold would be HR. And they're just pissed off, bitter, feminine. They just hate everything. Look who couldn't get in. Hey, shh, everyone hates you. There's a reason there's a Karen stereotype and everyone hates HR. I love it when HR tries to defend itself. Like, get the fuck out of here. Let's go get some more cats. Be a miserable spinster. We're not the ones with a labor shortage. And so whether it's your stereotypical ditz or the 48-year-old spinster Karen, this is a tremendous inefficiency in the labor force. This is a tremendous inefficiency in you getting the job. And what the refusal, I'd say a little bit of self-respect that the younger generations have caused is it has starkly reminded employers that they're not the ones with the magic hoo-ha. They need employees in order to work. And I think that you kind of metaphorically have corporations on the ropes and you have at least the self-respect. But let's also be honest, you also lack the work ethic. So you're not showing it. Hey, what? Disability checks? Yeah, totally. Sign me. Oh, yeah, I got a touch of the social anxieties. Give me that money. Anyway, because there's a shortage and because you're all holding out, you don't have to interview with HR. I remember towards the end of my real career before I did this stuff, recruiters would call up because I actually did have a pretty good resume. I bypassed the Karens. I finally got the cruising speed where I would more directly interview with whether it was the president of banking or whatever it was. I wasn't talking to the ditz or the Karen. But then recruiters would call up. I say, hold it. Okay, even for contract work, everyone I say, okay, who's the boss? Is it a boomer? What does that mean? No. Yeah, because this is fresh off the housing bubble and it was caused by boomers. It was. I said, is it a boomer? I'm like, no, I'm not interested. And I also said, do I have to interview with HR? Well, there is an obligatory, no, I'm not doing any preliminary, she's not going to read my palm. She's not going to look at my shoes. She's not going to ask me stupid fucking questions. If you could be, what are the, favorite color and why, favorite animal and why? If you were in this ludicrous situation, what would you do? I'd push all the HR people into a pit. The short pit, they wouldn't be injured or nothing. I certainly wouldn't bury them. That would be murder. That'd be wrong. But, just like a 2-inch pit, just push them off. God, what would I really do? What would I really do? Let me tell you what I do in this situation. We'd fire everyone in HR. We'd have a legal department handle all whatever the legal and the employment law, and we'd save ourselves 20% on labor. And I give all the real workers in the factory line a 20% raise. We got rid of the Karens and the Beckys and the Madisons. You all get a $5 an hour raise. Now you actually have living wages. Yeah, legal department. Yeah, here's like 2% more work. Just, fine, hire one more person, handle the entire department of Karens we just laid off. That's what I would do in that situation. That's how I'd bring profitability to this firm. Oh, look, a consulting company that has HR services that are outsourced for a fraction of the cost. Interesting. But I was looking for the thing, the video, like refused to interview with HR. I could have swore I did a video. I didn't. Searched it. I don't have it up here. So let me introduce the concept. You don't have to interview with HR. You don't have to do anything. The corporate says, you got to come downtown and no, we don't pay for parking. They say, what's the pay? First thing you should do analysis wise is, well, you got to work downtown if you want to work down. You got to work here, this location here. And here usually means an overpriced downtown area. And overpriced, I mean, for the rents you're going to have to pay. So if you want any reasonable commute, you say, okay, well, the office is there. And within a 4-mile radius of that office, rents are insane. So I take the rents, I multiply monthly rent, and multiply by 12. I add 30%, then another 30% on that for living expenses and all that. That's the amount of money I need. You'll never see their job offer exceed that amount. It will always be, nope, you can't afford to live down here. Well, then I'm not going to work down there. If you're not going to pay me the money I need to live down there and pay for stuff and pay off my debts for the ridiculous degree you required and save up money for retirement. And oh my God, heaven forbid, corporate America and Karens, we might have a little bit of fun, let alone the mental stability and ease and calm that comes with an income that might make your finances stable. I'm not taking the job. But just as sure, if they're not going to pay you enough to work where you got to work and pay for living expenses and then some, you don't have to interview with HR. And just how let me point out to the Zillennials and Millennials and Zoomers, in doing regular human action, you didn't have to protest. You didn't have to pass a law. All you just said was, no, we're not doing this. You effectively got a minimum wage above $15 per hour. Of course, it depends on the city. Your refusal, the word no, probably the most powerful word in the English language, in all languages. And if there was a wave of people, right now they can't get people into we can't find people. Well, it's Scooby-Doo mystery why you can't find people. But if you just said, well, do I got to interview with HR? And they say, yeah, you're like, yeah, I'm not interested. If they had enough applicants come in and like, oh, wait, whoa, I got to interview with HR? Oh, we're going to have you come in downtown and it's going to be a day of interviews. You're going to have 3 stages and then you play the circle and spin the wheel and ride the donkey. Are any of those interviews with HR? Yes. Well, you'll be just talking with our HR. No, and here's more you believe in management philosophy. Here's the thing. Are you fuckwits in corporate America serious about hiring people? Are you serious about finding the best person? Well, of course not. You wouldn't have DEI otherwise, right? But if you're serious, why are you? And here's what it is. Corporate America, the managers, the hiring managers, the bosses they're too fucking lazy to even go find and pick their own team. You know, in the military spy shows, the movies, oh my God, I got like a bank job or something like that. They got to pick their team. And that's like half the movie, or maybe not half the movie, but it's a really important, like, oh, we got to get a safe cracker, and we got to get a getaway. We got to get a driver for the getaway car. And we need a communications expert. You got to set that up. Or the movie, The Great Raid. Okay, we're going to need a company of riflemen, and then we need to send in a spy. Okay, now who you want to head up that squad? These are the people who ultimately run the company. The company, by the way, is just inanimate objects. You want the best people, and all the problems you idiots have, like, oh, we can't keep employees. There's too much high turnover. Did you spend any time choosing a team correctly? No, we just asked if she was black and had a vagina and identified as a Bulbasaur sexual. Gee, I can't imagine why you're having troubles, Disney. But even DEI aside, they are so lazy. They outsource it to people who don't know the business. They don't know, a plastics manufacturer. They don't know what carpentry is. All they got is their astrology. And I don't know, having the self-respect to say, you're not going to pay me enough to live? Fuck off. You should have the same self-respect. I'm not going to sit here and listen to this ditz moronic Karen idiot ask me insulting questions after I just went through whatever 4 to 6 years. I can't imagine. I mean, I don't know. I've never been a doctor. Do you medical doctors, you bust your ass off, right? 8 years schooling. I don't know how many. Is it like 10 or 12 when you throw the internship and the residency? I don't even know what a residency is. I don't know what that means. But there's a lot of education. Do you got to go and sit in front of some truly mentally inferior piece of shit ditz or Karen and tolerate their insulting questions about if you could wear a certain color sock, which one would it be and why? Do you have to tolerate that? I only merely expand the concept of self-respect to say no one should tolerate. If they said, hey, in order to interview here, we got to kick you in the nuts. Fuck you. I'm not applying. I'm going to sit here and entertain this moron who has a fake degree in a fake industry. No, refuse it. Standard living of wage, not taking anything less than that. You're going to pay me enough to live. If you want me to work here, you're going to pay me enough to live in the area. So I have to dick around with an insane commute, right? You're going to require a stupid degree. No, get a training program. But I sure the fuck am not going to sit there and listen to my intellectual inferior ask me about if I'm a Scorpio and if I was ever in a situation, how did I solve it and why? And we could all end the HR curse tomorrow. And you know, I'm not a big welfare fan. I'm not a big welfare state. But you know, having essentially what is UBI. I mean, there's a lot of individual programs and nonprofit and charities and things, but you essentially don't have to work if you don't want. You're going to have a really low quality of life, but you don't have to. You're not desperate. There's one good thing, and that will live with you folks or something like that. There's one good thing that is finally, unions kind of had a little bit of this, but universally now, everyone kind of like, yeah, fuck you. You're not going to pay me a wage? You want me to get ridiculous amounts of education? Like they're going to have to go back on that. You know, I think Walmart, a couple places, they reevaluated whether they needed people to have college degrees for certain jobs. They're getting rid of that. Google has self-employment or training now. They have certifications you can get through Google, and like, we need you here. We don't care about your degree. Why can't we get rid of HR? You know where it starts? Starts with you. Starts with you, fellow American worker. Just say no. Really, it should be if you'd, hey, can we spit in your face? Oh, hey, when you get here, we got a session where we spit in your face. Everyone lines up, we just spit in your face. No, it's not going to happen. Oh, well, we line up, we're going to kick you in the nuts. No, not going to happen. Oh, you got to sit here and waste an hour of your life. There's another, waste an hour of your time talking to some idiot. No, I'm not. And then slowly but surely, corporations are not smart. Their leaders are not smart. They're dumb. Slowly and surely, if they start saying, oh, HR? Seriously, if you all ask it, I have a dream that someday the college recruiter, all the college recruiters, yeah, do I have to interview with HR? Yes. Oh, yeah, I'm not interested. And people just start walking away. Same thing with telecommuting, right? Remote work. I'm not commuting. I don't have to commute. I'm going to say it really. I'm going to mean it this time. You better come back in. Bye. I can't find. Then they end up paying contractors anyway who work from home anyway, 3 times the amount anyway. Yeah, we're corporate leaders. We know what we're doing. Fuck them. Fuck that. So there you go. Just say no. Just say no to HR. I remember it went on one date with, and she was a nice gal. She's HR. And she's like, something like, well, what'd you do? I had an interview today. Oh, really? How'd that go? I said, I talked to the HR dits and say, what do you do? I have my master's degree in HR. I'm like, oh, and I didn't back down. I said, that is a worthless fucking field. She's like, yeah. Alex, hey, Alex, did you have to interview with HR to drive the truck? Did Becky, if you could paint your tires on your truck, what color would you paint them and why? I know that even construction applicants are better off bypassing HR. They're only supposed to do beesh work for the company. What's beesh work? Beesh? What is it with you young kids and all your words? Yeah, why does a construction company have HR? I understand a legal department. With HR, there are HR responsibilities like setting up a benefits and compensation package, getting health insurance, having a retirement plan. Those are all real functions of HR. That falls under benefits and compensation. But I wrap that up in the legal department. All I want HR to do is get the fuck out of the hiring process. Get out of here. It's like Bruce Willis in Die Hard. You're not part of the solution. You're part of the fucking problem. Put the other guy back online. Yeah, just so you know, for you HR girls and guys, you too listening, you're fucking worthless. You're a fucking obstruction. It's not a real profession you have. It's not a real job. Get the fuck out of our. We are the people who matter. We're the workers. Get the fuck out of our way. And for all you hiring managers out there that are too lazy, you outsource it to these idiots in this field. Yeah, surprise. I don't know why you're having employee retention problems. Could you imagine if they did like the bank job or the Italian job, but it was Karen picking everyone? There's a Saturday Night Live skip in there. Oh, they all meet because they don't need to know each other's names. And that way they can't rat each other out. And they all meet at the facility, the warehouse, right? And there's Karen. Hi. I'm like, who's our driver? Madison's your driver. She's an 18-year-old kid. Does she know how to drive a whatever posse tries? Like, no, but I have a perfect driving record. And then there's like whatever, the muscle. And it's like this big fat guy. Well, he's big, but he scored well on the personality test. Katie's like eating some food. Just be this horrible team. Here's your HR team bank heist job, people. I liked her shoes. That's why she's the leader. World War II would have never been won if it was headed up by HR people. We'd all be speaking German or Japanese now. Ukono, $5. People need to go back to physical media and stop paying for streaming services. Okay. I bought a bunch of CDs or DVDs at Goodwill the other day. I got the Gladiator and the Lord of the Rings trilogy. So I'm going to probably watch that. Causal Kraken. I said no to an HR interview and still got $90,000 consulting job today. No labor for my field at the movement. No labor for my field at the movement. And this job allows me to do reconnaissance in the United States. At the moment, you mean? Said no. Yeah, you don't have to say. You could find jobs without HR. And look, by the time you think, well, but I might lose that job. What job? The job where all the employees have been sanctified and blessed by the idiot in HR? Then that's not a place for a career. You're not going to grow or advance there. Nonstop Drake, $2. Cappy is just afraid of strong women, but Big Mike. No one is afraid. No one is afraid of strong women. No one is intimidated by you. No one cares. They just don't care. Nonstop Drake again, $2. HR stands for humans as resources to protect the company. Well, then throw it again. Throw it in the legal department. I even understand having DEI training and sexual harassment training because you're insuring yourself against the accusations. The company's insuring itself against accusations of bigotry, discrimination, sexual harassment, that type of stuff. I can even see that because modern day employees, oh my God, I'm a victim. I'm going to sue you. My favorite is when the DEI head, the chief diversity officer, sues their employer for discrimination. That's my favorite. That's my favorite. But I see a reason for that. Legal department. Get our preliminary interview. Get it the fuck out of here. You go find the hiring manager. Hey, hiring managers, you get to sit on your ass. You get to go through some resumes. You get to pick the ones you like. You call them up and bring them in. Don't leave that important job to the 23-year-old Becky who's going to choose, I don't know, what else would be? Oh, yeah, you got the safe cracker. She'd go hire, oh, this is Madison. Does Madison know how to crack safes? No, but she's my BFF, and I hired her because of cronyism. I never say that. All right, there you go. Link below. Look, here's the best thing. Just avoid. You should not have to beg for employment. All right. It's the same thing with getting the girls. Do you want to beg and ask out girls, or do you want to get in shape? You want to be tall, which is not something you can do. But get in shape, be good looking, get cleaned up, and have the girls come to you? Or do you want to like ask and beg and plead and negotiate? Right. Same thing with HR. Do you want to be the surgeon doctor or the heart cardiologist who just, hey, I'm a cardiologist and they're fighting over you? Or do you want to be someone who graduated with a general business degree, a marketing degree, and now you got to talk to 8 levels of Karens? All right, see you guys later, too. Oh, by the way, the reason you want to do it, go get Bachelor Pad Economics. I explained that. I explained that in Bachelor Pad Economics, which is linked below. All right, we'll see you guys later, Toodles.